evening. It is the ASTV Thursday night podcast from American Scouser TV. And just in the nick of time, Trevor showed up on Technical Issues Thursday, as it should be called from now on. We'd never go through an episode without one of them at least. Trevor, how are you?
Rushing around like a crazy person, but I'm here.
Is there any other way to rush around, to be fair, than like a crazy person? I've never seen anybody rush around like a calm person. But maybe Silky Joe Allen, perhaps.
Yeah.
Nah, that's gone too far. And tonight we're joined for his debut on Thursday, the fantastic Cozzy. We are going to need 2 sets of closed captions, as the Americans say, for us too. Tonight, Cozzy, how are you?
How are you, brother? You know, like us? How are we?
We're good. It's Thursday night. We're here with broken computers and bad connections, as we always are. And tonight we will start off nice and easy with Fat Frank Lampard, the piece of crap. All the coaching talent of this microphone over here, not managing to get a second win for Chelsea and beat Manchester United. We are destined for the Europa League next year, for sure. It might be disappointing to not be in the Champions League, but I really want to win that for the last time we were in it. Like, I'd actually like to have that in the bag for a Klopp, for nothing else, because that was a great run as well. That run. Trevor, how do you feel about that? Do you think the Champions League will be something we'll miss just as supporters, or as always, as we do? Probably more than any club that I've ever experienced in terms of other fans, we will make an adventure of this next year and probably be good odds to win it.
Yeah, once I kind of saw the results going down the way it was at work today, I was like, yep, all right. Time to start learning my my European capitals. Let's figure out where the good spots in Azerbaijan are and all those fun things. And then you're really just kind of just making it something that you're not too sad about anymore, because of course Fat Frank had to fuck it up like he always does. And and now we're on this thing. I want to go win it. And so because I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but crowded house in the top 4 next year. But if you have that Europa ace in the hole, then you don't have to worry too much about it.
Cozzy, you are obviously a natural born Scouser. Obviously, you love Liverpool. If you have any wits about you, you'll also say the lads were the greatest unheralded band that ever existed. One album, one and done, but still one of the best albums ever created by any musicians ever. But there is, I say this as an Irishman, because there's a huge amount of Irish culture in the Scouts culture, if you don't mind me saying, from all observations. But there is that sort of, I don't know any set of fans who would look at that situation and say, okay, here's a new story we can tell everybody. This is great. We're like, you could see Manchester United fans or Chelsea fans or Tottenham, well, I would say Tottenham fans, but they mess up. They're used to messing up anyway. Yeah. But, calling for the manager's head, looking for changes, and this is crap, and let's get rid of this. But Liverpool fans are going to look at this, really, aren't they, as let's make more nights at Anfield in Europe, aren't we?
Exactly, mate. I'm in the case of the Europa League. I've always been in the case. It depends on the opponent. Like, if you're drawing Dortmund, for example, going back to that, and those kind of teams, you're going to be like, fuck me, it's Dortmund. Do you know what I mean? Like, Barcelona were in it this year. So, of course, then on the next year, I get all that. But, let's get it right. I think the team United are not that good. Imagine getting them in the Europa League next year when they finish third in the Champions League. It's all about the team you play. We played United on the way last time we played Dortmund. And that United game, to me, felt massive. When we played United in that Europa League game, that felt ginormous to me. So, I think for Liverpool, in terms of the Europa League, and Trevor's got the nail on the head, it's going to be busy next year. It's in the top 4. I think Liverpool will be challenging for the league title. But if you have another season like you do have another season, why can't fall back on the Europa League? I want to win the Super Cup. I want to win the Europa League. So why don't you? I don't understand this, like, this whole thing. Oh, you're playing Thursday till Sunday, yet you're playing Wednesday till Saturday. Doesn't make any fucking difference. Like, you know what I mean? This is standard stuff to me. So, listen, the players get what you're in. If you would have offered me 5th place 3 months ago, I would have took it. So, it is what it is. You get what you're in, and I'm really excited to see what goes happen next year.
Trevor, we had, if you look at the statistics, if you're a boring nerd like I sometimes am, or married as I like to call it, for the last 10 games or so, we've been championship form in terms of results. Maybe our performances we could talk about in one or two games, but results-wise, we've looked like a championship contender. We're obviously hoping to carry that over next year. It may not be the quadruple, but do you think we'll be setting ourselves up for a quadruple?
Now there's just we're talking about a lot of things going on. That's as long this just it hurts my soul to say, but as long as City is there and there's not a a plague, there's always going to kind of be that boogeyman that's going to take at least one or two of them off you at all times, and that's I think that's just the place where we are at this stage of just as a club, and I agree with Kazi that my trepidation about not finishing in the top four next year is more of I am just an eternal pessimist, and I always think if it's not poor form, there's going to just be a rash of injuries, and there's going to just be something. I always wait for that shoe to drop. I don't necessarily think it's going to be a season like this one.
No,
but
I'm going off those. Sorry, mate. Going off what you're saying there, though. In terms of the pessimistic, Liverpool have these players where we need these competitions. We all want to see more of Carvalho and we'll see what he's like. If we're going to keep Tyler Morton around and there's Conor Bradley and see these guys, are they good? I don't know. Are they good players? Fuck knows. I have no idea. If Conor Bradley was standing in front of me, I'd ask him to go and get me a tackle belt. I have no idea who the kid is, but he's meant to be a good player. I have no idea. Do you know what I mean? So you need these competitions. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So the pessimistic side, fella. Do you know, I understand what you're saying about City, but I think the Europa League could be okay for us. I really do. I don't think it's going to be any issue for this side, really.
No, yeah, and that's kind of why I'm excited about the Europa League, because it's not going to give you those same usual suspects that you're not necessarily tired of facing over and over again, but you're going to face new routes, and in those, especially in the group stage games, you are going to give those young kids a chance. You're going to give these guys European nights that in the Champions League, just because it's the Champions League, you wouldn't.
Kazi, do you think because we'll be in the Europa League that we will finally confirm or unconfirm the existence of Calvin Ramsey?
No, I don't. He's a mirage, isn't he?
You're just making up names at this point.
Yeah. When Liverpool signed the right back from Aberdeen, this doesn't sound correct anyway, does it really? But that's another good one, though, is Calvin. Like, go and play right back. Is he good? We have no fucking... I don't know.
Well, to be fair, that's not the question with Calvin Ramsey. The question with Calvin Ramsey is he a regen from FIFA? And that's why his name is on the roster.
He's one of the startups on Pro Evo when you were a kid. On the Pro Evo soccer when you were a kid. But, I mean, like...
Rain gods.
That's it. I look at Liverpool's squad, mate. And again, a Ramsey. I look at Gomez, mate. Gomez desperately needs minutes. And he needs some confidence. Go and play those fucking games and go get some clean sheets and come back with a bit of thing about you. Do you know what I mean? So, again, we've got questions about Carvalho. We've got questions about Tyler Morton. We've got questions about a lot of players in Liverpool's squad. Even though we are letting a lot of people go. But we still have, again, undeniable questions. And people might laugh at this as well. There's an argument for Darwin Núñez to go, hey, lad, you're going to start these games. And you're going to go and score fucking 15. And go and get your confidence that way. So it can be a little boost later on the season going for Darwin to go, well, I'm here, fit and firing for you kind of thing, and I've got my position down. I've got what you want me to do kind of thing. His English might be better than that kind of thing. So hopefully, you know, I'm super excited. And also, Macka, where's the final?
I can't remember. Where is it?
It's in Dublin, baby.
Oh, is it? Oh man, I'll have to avoid it then. People expect me to go over and have to pay all that money I borrowed off them.
There'll be 400,000 Liverpool fans in Dublin.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
honestly, so it's a good night out, isn't it?
Yeah, it'd be a great night out. Not a cheap one, but a great night out nonetheless. In thinking about the season overall as we come into the last game, which we'll talk about later on, but the season overall, Trevor, it was obviously clearly frustrating maybe first half to 2/3 of it, but the last third we kicked into gear, which almost was predictable if you looked at Dortmund's last season under Klopp. It almost followed that same pattern. But given that we managed to get to 5th place and a team like Chelsea didn't get anywhere, like that was like proper old school concrete stands Chelsea from the 1980s with Dennis Wise or whatever in midfield. That was like that's where they used to be before they got all that Russian money. Is this a season where we can actually feel a little bit satisfied in the sense that we did push on and we have seen players start to gel, and we've seen, as me and Cosy talked before we went on air, Trent finding a new lease of life? Are there more positives than negatives we can take from this season?
Yeah, and if you look at it as just a snapshot, you're going to see 5th place after several years of just unbridled success, and you're going to go, what happened there? And then but that doesn't take into account everything that goes on, obviously. And now this, like you said, this last third of a run with Trent finding this new life with his role, and Gakpo finally seeming like he's not necessarily firing on cylinders, but he's like just ingratiated himself into the side where he fits at least. Unlike Darwin, I think he still has a little bit of ways to go to fit entirely, but I see the potential there. There's all the guys that are going to go other than Milner. I don't see any gigantic losses there. And if the rumors are to be believed, everybody that's coming in, or at least will come in, will either be A, healthy, or B, better. That's my thing more than anything. I want guys that I don't necessarily need bodies, but I need people that are available. And the guys that we sent off, other than Milner, Bobby wasn't available as much as I love him. Ox, never available. And Naby, okay, cool. Just he's in his own category of unavailability. What ailment can I make up this week? But nevertheless, I think there's brighter future ahead. We just got to see what pieces get put into that puzzle.
Because we talked before about Klopp and his general mood around the place this season, but he does seem like the kind of manager who use every ounce of how this season went to motivate the team next season, doesn't he? Do you expect us to come out of the blocks going into the following season?
Oh, I think Liverpool will win the first 8 out of 10. Oh, we won't fuck about. I think it's just hurt them. I think, Salah's tweet says that tonight, that he's pissed off. And the last thing you want is a pissed off Mo Salah. So, but I look at the season in terms of listen, we're not happy finishing 5th. We're not happy not challenging for anything. But I think we need to all put this into I think we've been bang on lucky in games sometimes. Listen, Liverpool have been poor in football matches. That is fucking horrific. But how many deflected goals go in against us this season? I'm not sitting here crying that in, but it is a thing that these just weird goals. I look at so you're poor in the league, and then you look at the cups. You go out to City away in the League Cup, and and you play quite well in that game. It's the first game after the World Cup, I think. You go out to Brighton away, one of the hardest places to go in the league, unless you're Everton, and then you lose to the best team in Europe in the last 10 years in Real Madrid, which they are, because they've got all the European trophies to show for that. So it's not like you're being bounced or trounced by lower league sides or sides that you should be beating in the cups either. Do you know what I mean? So I want to put this into context for this United side, by the way, and all these fans and whatever it is. United have lost the same amount of games as Liverpool this season. They are not that good. It's just because Liverpool have been dog shit and Chelsea have been dog shit. As soon as Chelsea get a nice, competent manager behind them, then they will be in a different, ballpark completely. So yeah, I feel like the season. I feel like the season's been a bit. What's the right word? It feels like when we were about to get going, it just kept, something happened. Then the 7-0 happened and stuff like that, and you beat Everton in the derby, and then something happened, and it just, you know what I mean? It just felt like a bit, stuttering to start, basically. But I'm taking massive positives for next season.
Let's move on a tiny bit and flip to the other end of the table because it could be a delightful weekend for us one way or the other. We have 4 teams with 3 could get relegated. Leicester, Everton and Leeds. Leicester, Everton and Leeds. From a Liverpool perspective, we'd be quite happy with any of those getting relegated. Trevor, do you think Everton will pull yet another one out of the bag? Are Leicester doomed to be hoisted by their own petard, as they used to say in the French days of some time ago that I've never invented in my head? Or will it be exactly as it is now? Or will Leeds pull out a miracle like they did last season? Who do you see going down at the end of the day?
Yeah, I think it's the way that I unfortunately prognosticated a couple weeks ago that it's going to be Leicester, Leeds, and the already doomed Southampton. As much as I'd like to see Everton go down and just see that sea of blue walk out of that stadium looking like Charlie Brown just got the fucking football taken away from him and he did that gainer again. I don't. Maybe Leeds could sneak it out, but Leicester, it has zero fight left in them. That is a team that has resided to the fact that they'll be playing in the championship next year. They've already lined up places for Madison and Tielemans to go. I shudder to think what that roster is going to look like next year. They could very well be a double dropper, in my opinion, if they because they're just financially strapped, and then in the championship they just absolutely get ravaged. But yeah.
So you're destined on Leicester. You think Leeds have got more of a chance for you?
I think Leeds got more of a chance. I don't think it's a good chance, but I think they got more of a chance than Leicester.
I think I'm going Leicester. They're going to stay up. And this isn't my bias. I have studied this relegation battle more than anything in my whole fucking life. Because there's nothing I want more on this whole planet than Everton Football Club to go relegated and just go away for the rest of my life. But the reason why I'm saying I think Leicester will stay up, Leicester are playing West Ham at home, who've got a European final, who are already safe. Leicester will win that football match, in my opinion. And then Everton have to get something from, have to beat Bournemouth. If they draw, it's not enough because Leicester will finish above them on goal difference.
Yeah.
Everton this season, without Calvert-Lewin, have been dog shit. Calvert-Lewin's ruled out for 6 weeks with a hamstring injury. Everton have no right back. Coleman's injured and Patterson got injured. They haven't got a right back. They're playing Mason Holgate right back. Now, and then Michalenko, their only left back, is injured. So they're probably going to play Dwight McNeil there. So right now, up front, they're probably going to go with Damari Gray, Alex Iwobi, and Neil Maupay to win a football match. Think about that for a second, lads. Not to play it, to win it. Do I think they could play 90 minutes? Yes. Do I think they could win a football match? No, they can't. And this Bournemouth team, by the way, yes, they've been poor since they stayed up. I think they lost the last 3 or whatever. Everton have to go for the game. The worst thing that can happen to Everton in this football match is that they go behind first early, or Leicester take the lead before they do. Because and I know them fans more than I know my wife. I'm telling you right now, it'll be fucking vile in that ground. It will be a cesspit. If you
to be fair, because they'll be vile out of the ground as well.
And I'm trying to. People think of Galatasaray and all these like fucking horrible places to go. Those fans will kill them if they don't stay in that league. They will have to run off that pitch because they will fucking go for them. And I just feel like it's all destined because everyone goes, it's in their hands. They've had one good win, the Brighton win, and that's because they scored in the first 30 seconds and then set the tempo of the game. They got the confidence off that. Let's get it right. That team, Leicester, looked like to me, when you watched him against Newcastle, he set up for the point. Dean Smith went, I'll take my point and I'm going to back Bournemouth to get some. Do you know what I mean? And I quite like that he did that, Dean Smith, because he went, I'm going to take this to the last day and I'm going to put the pressure on Everton. And I'll beat West Ham because they will beat West Ham. Come on. Well, if Declan Rice starts that game, the West Ham fans should be absolutely livid. Because there's not many chances you get to play in the Conference League. Of course, it's a trophy that you can laugh at, but it is a position in the Europa League if you win it as well. And for West Ham, that's a big, big trophy.
That's a European final.
It's a European final, fella, against Roma, a big side as well. Sorry, not Roma, because the Europa League is a final. I can't remember who they got. But then against a big side, and I think to myself...
Fiorentina,
that's it. Sorry, mate. Fiorentina. Good side, good pedigree. Go and set a bit of history for your club. Everton, I am so certain we'll get relegated. I can't stop laughing thinking about it. I've actually booked 3 weeks off work. I am off work on Friday for 3 weeks. It's not just for that. I'm meant to be moving house, but that might get delayed for a long time if Everton get relegated from this fucking league, man. Honestly.
All the packing's done in one day.
I swear to God, Trevor, I'm going to be just throwing the things in the house, go, fucking go. Go on.
Now, I'm old enough to remember the last time they were threatened with relegation on the last day. They played Wimbledon. Hans Sagers of the backhanders was in goal. I think was it two or three goals went under him, which were the worst attempts at looking innocent ever. And that crushed me more than Liverpool losing to Norwich on the Kop on the last day. That one crushed me more because I was expecting that to be the day that we said bye-bye.
Mate, Macka's 100% correct. What happened is, Trev, it was 99 or 97. Last day, Wimbledon are winning 2-1. Everton win 3-2, stay up on the last day. And a week later, a $25,000 payment went into the goalkeeper's bank account. And it was automatically said because he got paid off for that game. So that's what we're dealing with. Everton should have got a long time ago. The Dogs of War and all this garbage, what they used to have with Don Hutchinson and all these kind of appalling footballers. This is the time that I've waited for my whole life. You cannot keep knocking at the door. Eventually, someone's going to open. And this right now, and I keep saying to people, that Leicester squad is better than that Everton squad if they go down. There's like Maddison and Harvey Barnes and then Didi and Iniaccio. And do you know what I mean? These are good players,
My thing, though, is Leicester's going to get raided if they go down. Nobody's going to want to touch Everton's fucking garbage if they do.
And that's why when you mentioned before, you can see a back-to-back relegation. I can't, only for the fact of they have sellable assets. I always look at clubs and go, do you have sellable assets? Do you have players where you'll go, where you can make 200 million if you sell those lads? Do you know what I mean? But I look at Southampton, and I look at like Kyle Walker-Peters, and I look at Alcaraz and James Ward-Prowse and think, well, there's a good 100 million. And, Bazuna's Ireland's number one, whether you rate them or not, but that could be a sell there, you know what I mean? I look at those kind of players. I look at Everton, Pickford, Onana, and potentially Calvert-Lewin, but he can't get fit. So you've got two sellable players because all the rest are garbage. But I think Leicester will probably still sell 8 players and get 250 million for them comfortably. Maddison and Barnes, you'd get 150, wouldn't you?
I think a lot of that's going to go to cover debts, though. I don't think it's going to go back into the
team, but you also get the parachute payments, don't you, for 2 years? Trust me, if Leicester don't come back up in 2 years, I can see what you're saying. Because you get those parachute payments as well, you can convince Vardy at 36 to do 1 more year for you. Do me 1 more year to get me out of here, then on your way kind of thing. So
I hope I'm wrong for your sake. Let's put it this way.
Don't do it.
I really hope I'm wrong.
I also think that if Everton wanted to cash in, they could always sell Pickford to a dinosaur museum as a scale model of a T-Rex.
I know, like a little scarecrow, isn't he? But, he's the most Spurs signing of all time, isn't he? I've never seen a goalkeeper made for Spurs than Jordan Pickford. He will go to Spurs. Yeah. He'll go in. He'll finish 5th. He'll bang his chest a bit. He'll go like this when they're 5-0 down to Liverpool, and he'll be fine. And let him go and do his little thing, and let him go and play for England to be garbage as well.
He'll get a shampoo commercial, and then they'll realise too late that they can't get him to rub his hands through his hair because his arms aren't long enough. Now, just as a nice little segue into the next bit, Trevor and Cozzy, whoever goes down, Leeds, Leicester, or Everton. Well, let's discount Everton because we just said that the players are crap. But Leeds have maybe 1 or 2 players. Leicester have a good number of players. Southampton have a good number of players. If Liverpool were to buy Annie on the cheap, relative cheap, from these teams, who would you pick, Trevor? Who would be your 1 relegation player you would take out of the 3?
Oh, God.
If we didn't have as many, I think, quality set piece players as we do, I would Ward-Prowse would be my first one just because he's so good at those. But I think if you're going to pick somebody out of those 3 teams, not including Onana, the second non-Pickford player from Everton, jeez, I'll let Kazi go first on this one and give me like 30 seconds to ruminate.
I think the answer is the one with the most talent, Harvey Barnes, but he doesn't fit Liverpool because you've got too many left-sided players.
Yeah.
So he's ruled out. I think the answer is Ward-Prowse, and I'll tell you why. Liverpool need English players. Whether we like it or not, Liverpool need homegrown players.
That's a good point.
Liverpool have a homegrown issue, and Ward-Prowse, if you are going to play in the Europa League, that's another part. We are going to be in the Europa League now. A Ward-Prowse with his experience and his set pieces, I'd take him all. I don't feel like he's ever injured. I'm not sure what his injury record is, but I feel like he plays every week. So I think the right answer is probably Ward-Prowse. I don't like that Feist, the centre half. I think he's garbage. But he has scored 2 for Liverpool already this season, so maybe get him in. But I'm looking at the centre halves because I'm trying to think of that centre half for Konate when Konate gets injured. Do we want someone in between the Matip and Gomez? Is this Matip last year? I don't know. It's difficult, but I'll say Ward-Prowse right now. I think.
Yeah. Well, if we're talking about hyphenated Southampton players, the 2 center halves they have, but I think those are guys that are like 2 or 3 years away from being viable Liverpool options.
Yeah, Kaleta-Kar. Is it Kaleta-Kar, isn't it?
Kaleta-Kar and Bellakacha.
We were linked with them, weren't we? Quite. We were linked with them about 2 years ago, weren't we? Like quite in depth, but I think we went with the Konate option, which seems like a steal now. The Walker-Peters option is really interesting because going back to it,
another hyphenated name.
Another one. What is Liverpool going to do with Trent? Do you go and get a right back? Do you go a proper backup right back? Is Ramsey that guy? I don't know. We just don't know. Ramsey was bought thinking Liverpool were going to play 4-3-3 for the rest of our lives. So it's a bit like Andy Robertson. And I'm sure Macka can get into this because this is more of a general chat. I don't know if he's a mainstay for Liverpool anymore because Liverpool don't play a formation which really gets the best out of him anymore because he's playing like that inverted centre half role. And then you're like to yourself, well, I'd rather do you cash in for him and then get a centre half? I don't know. It's just so difficult. We all love him. We all adore him. We all, you know what I mean? Of course we do. But as the squad moved on, as this team moved on, it's just a formation going forward. Do you know what I mean? Mac, I'd love to know your thoughts on that, but that's my thing.
I think that's an interesting one, but just to not because I wasn't born, I don't even think, but it's almost like an Emlyn Hughes kind of call with Robertson, isn't it? Like he means so much to the club, but the team moved on, and there was no need for an Emlyn Hughes type defender, attacking defender, wherever he played, because he played at a number of positions. Yeah. But the question would always be who was out there that could fit that role in that side.
Would you rather say, listen, you've got a right back in Calvin. Say Trent centre mid. Let's just go for it for the second, right? Because you can't rely on Konate. So Trent can't do both roles. Konate plays 25 games a season. We all love him, but he plays 25 games. So the argument is, of course, is that with the Robbo, is he the man? You know what I mean? I understand that point from Bickler as well, by the way, completely. But I would rather out and out centre half if we're going to commit to this. And I'd rather have the proper pacey centre half. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just so difficult. I think, again, Liverpool have got a lot of options to make. Do you sell Robertson for 50 million and go, well, Kostas can get me out of jail if I want to go back to 4-3-3 for 10 games? Does Calvin Ramsey get me out of jail and I can throw Trent back there in certain formations? Do you know what I mean? And do we do the cash in on Robertson now? Just find it, I think it's super difficult.
How about, because it's been said in the papers, and I've watched this, my wife foolishly picked a soccer team to watch. That's sort of thing, just to kind of get on the same page, because we don't like anything that's the same, with the exception of Italian food. But she picked Leicester first since, because they were the underdog. I told her they won the league in 2016. Nobody expected. She was like, that's my team. So I've had to watch a lot of them. Maddison has been linked with a number of clubs, including Liverpool, in the papers. It means nothing in terms of reality. But he's a right-footed player, he's a creative player, and when he can be bothered, he's a very hard worker. Would somebody like that be worth the risk, or is he too expensive, or is he beyond the age profile we would need, Trevor?
As a player, I think he's a guy that can be properly motivated in the right spot. I just think he's already got a
it wouldn't be a Thursday episode with Baker if he didn't shock him in some way.
He's going to go to Newcastle. We're not going to have to worry about it.
Yeah. He's probably going to go to Newcastle. But another one I was looking at the other day, just in terms of backup and probably cheap, Ayling from Leeds. as a defensive backup.
I mean, I've watched the last few games because I've been having a more intense outlook on Leeds. From fuck me, Everton. What have you done to me, man? Make me watch Leeds. Jesus Christ. Do you want to think of years, mate? Just think
That's their final fuck you.
This is like the fucking bow on the season. I've been watching the last 10 games of Leeds tonight. The Leeds fans haven't even watched the last 10 games of Leeds. But I've got a feeling about Taylor that he just might be a bit shit, and that's okay. But I don't know if he can get to the level of Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? I know what you're saying about the Maddison thing's interesting. He's 27 this year.
Yeah, it's peak age, really, isn't it, for him? He should be at a bigger club already.
Liverpool haven't really got many players between the age of 23 and 27. I don't think I want another one towards the top end. Some 23, 24-year-old lads now to get us through. But I know what you're saying about the big club thing. Let's get it right, though. He was winning the FA Cup 2 years ago, and he was challenging for the top four. It's just because they fell off a cliff, haven't they? So it's difficult, but I wouldn't have Maddison. If you said to me a £70 million Maddison or a £30 million Ward-Prowse, I'd have Ward-Prowse every day. Yeah,
that really comes down to that, doesn't it? Like, there's more upside for less money in that sense.
Yeah. I'm a big Ward-Prowse.
Flip it around, though. That's a more difficult question. A 30 million Maddison and a 70 million Ward-Prowse.
Oh, you'll be going to get a guy that misses penalties. I want the guy for half the amount.
Oh, yeah. Good point, actually. He fucking missed that penalty against Everton, which would have sent them down.
Yeah.
Fucking penalty I've ever seen in my life, by the way. No, he doesn't deserve to come to our club. There you
go. Shut off in the middle of him shooting it.
Mate, the worst penalty. Genuinely, we've all seen some bad pens. That's up there, That is up there. That's top 3 bad. He doesn't deserve my football club.
Yeah, I think that puts the nail in that particular coffin. Now, looking ahead to the weekend, we've got Southampton. It's going to be a dead rubber, if ever there was a dead rubber. Well, one team relegated, one team secured. Are we going to see, especially it's an away game, are we going to see wholesale changes? Let the kids in. Will Arthur Milo get an appearance? Will Naby Keita get an appearance if he's even fit?
This one. Get him on the pitch. Come on.
Is it time to change the song just for 1 week only, Cozzy? There's number 1 is Arthur Milo. Number 2 is Arthur Milo. Number 3.
Number 4 is Arthur Milo. And number 2. I'm very much, by the way, I'm banging to getting all the old Southampton boys back together and having a proper testimonial. I want to see Ricky Lambert. I want to see Lallana, Sadio, Daisy Lovren. I want to get them all back in. And we're having Nathaniel Klein, and we're having a Southampton testimonial. On a serious point, which this game was not a serious game of football, by the way.
No.
I want to see the kids, and I don't want to see these. I would send them all home. I would have sent them on holiday tonight. As soon as United scored that third, I would have went, go and get your oldies in, boys. Just go now and have a week off. There's no point. Why are we wasting the time? I want to see Kay Gordon because he's come back from injury. And let's get him. I'll just give him 90 minutes of nothing football. Milner can play, Bobby can play, Ox can play, fucking Adrian can go and goal, Gomez, and just fucking Costas can play, Matip, whatever. No, Nat Phillips, because Nat Phillips will be his last game, he can play. And let's just have a good old time. Let's have a little bit of fun down the south coast. It's a lovely little place, Southampton. It'll be lovely weather down there. Let's go and have a laugh and go and beat them 4-0 with all a bunch of kids that we'll never see again.
Trevor, are you in agreement with that, or would you have a little bit more of a mix?
No, I definitely think all the guys that you put all of that effort into sending off, if they're healthy, need to play in this game. And other than that, pick names out of a hat, play boggle, roll dice, throw whatever the fuck you want to do, throw darts. I don't care. How he puts that roster together does not bother me at all for this last game. All right. I'm just happy that it's on a Sunday. I have it off and I can go get nice and slow.
By the way, I'm banging to Jay Speedon playing because we got Jay Speedon on the books, haven't we, somewhere still?
Yeah.
We got Jay Speedon at the under 23s. I'm banging to him.
Yeah.
Him and Arthur Mello. What a team we've got, by the way.
I noticed the conspicuousness of the absence of the name of Calvin Ramsey because he doesn't exist. That's why. He's just a shadow of somebody's imagination. In terms of the the pre-season we talked about this week, Cosy, before. We have that one trip to Singapore, and otherwise it seems like a traditional pre-season. How important is it, Cosy, that we're going to get a proper pre-season, no World Cups to worry about, a good bit of rest, hopefully, for the lads, an injection of new players, as you said before. We went on getting those players in early, getting them before the first week of pre-season, let's say, if we put some paperwork snafus in there, and getting the lads gelled before the first game next August.
It's our biggest pre-season since 17-18, summer 18. Jay Spin looks like a recovering alcoholic. I always think. It looks like
you just climbed out of a coal mine.
Yeah. But no, I'm this pre-season as our biggest pre-season in the last 5 years, and I say because we are learning a new formation, and it is going to be 4 or 5 new players, which doesn't happen to Liverpool. And I think the key is, I look when we won the Champions League, we had to go to the Super Cup. We knew we had to go to Japan. Where was it? Doha or something, Qatar, to play in the Club World Cup. Where this season feels like we've actually got time with these lads. And again, we need to find out about these lads. Is Tyler Morton an option? I don't know. Because I fucking don't know. For me, he looks too weak. But then Blackburn tells me he's the best thing since fucking sliced bread. So I don't know. So that's what this pre-season is for me. It's work on this position. It's working out what we're going to do with Trent. It's working out what you're going to do with this new formation. It's as big a pre-season that we can ask for. And I cannot wait. And the one thing that Liverpool will usually guarantee, we get our signings in before pre-season. So I expect 4 or 5 new signings in the next 6 weeks.
Trevor, I want Cossy's input in this as well, because he was, I'm sure, there at the time. But this pre-season, to me, feels like 2000 to 2001 almost. We're expecting a lot. We missed out the season before, if I remember, on the Champions League on the last day, if I remember correctly. We brought in a good number of players, and then we went on and we took everything we could take apart from the league. Cosy says this is the biggest preseason in years. Does it have that sense that if it doesn't work out, we might be in big trouble as a club, but if it does, it's going to be spectacular?
And I think after this past season, the impetus has been put on everybody involved that everything needs to be taken care of early, needs to be snug, and there has to be the proper gelling from the front office to the last guy on the bench going into this preseason, because of the guy sitting right behind Kazi right there being the marquee move from last year. And there was just so much discombobulation with, people were going to leave, then they didn't. People were going to come in, and they didn't. And then there was just a lot of rigmarole, and then all of a sudden that guy showed up, and at least he's there, so we can prove he exists, unlike Calvin Ramsey, who I still think is just a hallucination. But nevertheless, I think this year is one where I agree that all these kids that are coming back from loan, trot them out in as many different amalgamations this preseason as you possibly can, and find out if they're going to be a part of this team, where they fit in best. Don't make them something where, you're a plug-and-play guy here, there. If you're going to bring Tyler Morton back, make it something where he's coming in and he's going to be the guy that comes on the 60th minute for X, Y, or Z in every other game. Have a plan in place and things set for these guys, so you're not just kind of making it up as you go. And I think that could really just turn the tides with both the signings coming in being integrated quicker and these kids coming back off loan, having a place and knowing their role and having something tangible where they can go, all right, I'm not going to ask for a move away because they've told me I'm coming back, and if I prove myself in this preseason, this is going to be what I do. And I think that I can do this well enough where it behooves me to stay.
Yeah.
Cosy, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's completely right. I mean, Listen, I think I'm in the camp of the first 15 million that walked through the door for Tyler Morton, Liverpool will accept it. The first 15 million that walked through the door for Conor Bradley, Liverpool would accept it. But again, Liverpool have an issue, which is homegrown players. We're signing Adrian again. Klopp said they basically confirmed that. So that's a spot taken again, which I'm not a fan of. I'm a big fan of these clubs getting all these old English goalkeepers just to get them through, like Tom Heaton and Lee Grant and these kind of players who are just at United and just went, yeah, you'll just get
Scott Carson,
the only Champions League winner right now at City, by the way. There you go. But so I'm a big fan of that. But again, the question is this. With Liverpool, I've been getting over the line in games. We've been grinding, and that's great. It's great to have that in any side that you can grind wins. Liverpool going forward cannot keep grinding wins out because you will get found out in games. So we need to work on this formation. It's massive. And I also think as well, the team that's finishing second this season is garbage. I am genuinely out there, and I'll argue with anyone that Arsenal team is not that good at all. And they've been bang lucky with injuries. They've lost Saliba, and they've won 2 out of 8. So... you know what I mean? That's one footballer. They lost Pacey after the World Cup. And
they made it seem like they lost their entire back line.
Honestly, mate, they've lost one centre-half. That team will not finish in the top 4. Chelsea will come again. Spurs will come again. Spurs will go and get a manager who's half competent. And Chelsea will go and do exactly the same. This pre-season is ginormous for Liverpool. Ginormous. Again, if we're going to lose Nat Phillips, we've lost Milner, Oxlade-Chamberlain, you know what I mean? Liverpool has to sign English players. So all this thing, when you see all these links, by the way, of all these foreign players, and you can't have them. We just cannot have them. That's why I could see a position for a Tyler Morton or a Conor Bradley going forward, really, just to take up that number.
In terms of the what we look for in a preseason, Trevor, just like very briefly, what do you want to see in the preseason, in the games specifically? Do you want to see us win them, or do you just want to see the players gel? Because there are some fans who think we should be winning every preseason game, and if we don't, that's going to indicate that the season's going to be terrible, which there's no statistics that backs that up. But there are fans who think that way, probably in all clubs, I'm sure. But what do you want to see in the preseason games?
Those are probably the same people that also want their team to go undefeated in spring training, to win every preseason game. They want to win the preseason NBA tournament. That means dog shit, nothing. Those people are psychopaths, and they need serious psychiatric evaluation. What I want to see from this preseason is if we're going to kind of get the younger kids back in, to Kazi's point, for getting those homegrown numbers up, just so there doesn't come that crunch where you have to pay $25 million for somebody dog shit just because they will fulfill the quota. Kind of get that out of the way early. But like I said before, if you're going to have these kids come in, have defined roles for them, not just be, okay, you're cannon fodder on the bench, because they're not going to want to stay. And then that becomes an issue. And I really want to just see a good mix of the kids, both that we have in-house and are coming back, get into this new formation. If we're going to keep it, which I fully think, if that's not the plan going forward, then there's been a serious like brain worm that went into Klopp's ear. Either way, I want to see just people get in to roles and just be able to just move well. It sounds so simplistic, but just move well. Not look like, oh, I have to be in spot F at this point. Or, just make it look fucking natural and have these kids play and work with the veterans. Get a little bit of that. Just, I was going to say something weird, but
go on, Seth.
I was going to do wrestling terminology. I was going to say rub, but then it was going to be weird. Then it was going to be a weird pun. I'm just stopping.
Go on, fella. So we to lay a smackdown for you? Okay. For me, I always ask out of pre-season, I just want to see my strikers scoring goals. Because I don't think they care who they score against. They just want to score goals. And there's another thing with the kids, and I have to keep bringing this up because it's important. I remember Ian Brewster was fucking putting goals in the pre-season. The first 25 minutes, that walk through the store with Ian Brewster was gone. This was the good part again for Liverpool with the Tyler Morton and Conor Bradleys and Kay Gordons. Mate, if they go out and play well the first 2 pre-seaseason games, you'll get a kid come in and trying to buy them. And go, I'll take him, he's great. Do you know what I mean? That's the thing. What happened
the Brewster and Solanke principle.
We all, and the other thing about these mad people who want to win every pre-season game. I remember our last pre-season game last year. We destroyed City in the Charity Shield. Then we were absolutely dog shit all year. We were all sitting there as we destroyed City, going, "We're going to get 110 points."
Oh, did you see Holland fuck up? Yeah. What a bum that guy is!
Oh, Darwin scored. Darwin should have had a hat-trick there. We said it all fucking year. Every time he comes on, he should have had a hat-trick, Darwin, because he's fucking kind of the fucking banjo. He can't hit anything, he's garbage in terms of his finishing at least. So I feel like Liverpool have to do that. I just want to see me striker scoring goals. I'd love to see Darwin get a few and go and get a bit of confidence and get, going into the season. That's all I care about. Go and get beat 6-5 and let Darwin score 5. I don't care.
Just for both of you, as a bit of speculation, do you think there will be a surprise signing? Something like in a position maybe or a player we just didn't expect? And if so, what position on the field do you think it's going to be, Trevor?
All right, this is going to harken back to what Kazi was talking about with Robbo. Because if somebody comes in and something that I heard a rumbling of, and I don't want to talk.
Sorry, I had Taco Bell. I had Taco Bell for dinner. Sorry about that. That's what the rumbling was.
But it could be something where he's taking the old little Trippier sojourn to Spain for 1 year, and if it was going to be a left back coming in, and we're working to keep that thing with Costas, I think splurging a little bit on the left back wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but it would be very unexpected.
Yeah, I think the unexpected position thing is interesting. I think we do for the first time in years the Van Dijk side centre half. I think this is the one. I think this is the year. If we're going to do it, you do it now and go, because Van Dijk's still top level. I say this all the time in the chat. Everyone goes, he's fell off. And you're like, no, he's just a top 6 centre half now. Instead of being the greatest centre half I've ever seen play football, he's just now a top 4 centre half.
That's because you haven't seen me, Cozzy.
I mean, exactly. Hey, you on Sunday, fella.
I have the proper tape.
Me and Jay spearing. We'll be the spine.
Playing the ball, sound like that. But I think if you're going to do it, you do it now. I can see that with the club. But if you're going to go 3 at the back, but in terms of a surprise signing, I think Liverpool, a bit like the Cody Gakpo and the Fabinho signing, it just came out the blue. I expect Liverpool to do McAllister next week. I want Liverpool to announce it within the week, to be honest, because, again, I just want these lads in so we know what we're playing with. The Mason Mount thing's interesting because link with United. It looks like he favours United. And David Ornstein released that. We all laughed at David Ornstein 6 weeks before we dropped out the Bellingham race when he said Liverpool are not going to go for Bellingham. And we all laughed at him. Then 6 weeks later, we dropped out the Bellingham race. So maybe he is onto something a little bit. Maybe he was kind of right. So if that's the thing with Mount, I can see us going big for this. I mean, like a midfielder that we wouldn't even dream of or think of. Do you know what I mean? I just don't know really who that is right now. I'm not sure. I look around the league and the leagues maybe. There's no one who really I know Barella was loosely linked, but I don't like Italians playing for me club.
I'm fully on board with that. I don't like when we sign Italian players. They just never work out for us.
Aquilani PTSD.
Oh, mate, I've got this fucking Balotelli and Andrea De Sena and just fucking garbage. But I mean, I just feel like...
At least De Sena got a goal against United.
Hey, Real Madrid and United in the space of 4 days. Yeah. Big Andre. And then he played for Sunderland for a bit. He had no neck. just all in all of this. He was just mad guy.
That was karma for the amount of neck that Ian Rush had when he was at the club.
Yeah. You got to balance out the neck ratio.
Yeah.
He was the first person that was both a American football fullback and a professional fullback. He could have played both positions. He was just so compact.
I do. The one I would say Liverpool might do is Conor Gallagher. It just thinks of it. He just thinks of Liverpool. If Mount goes one way, Chelsea have to sell players, have to sell footballers. Like people forget that as well. Chelsea have got so many footballers. And they will see what's happening with City. They'll see what's happening with Everton and think, we don't want to go down that line in 3 years' time. So the Conor Gallagher thing makes loads of sense for Liverpool if it's not Mount. Just me, I'll take Mount over Conor Gallagher any day of the week.
Yeah.
I would not pay within £20 million for Gallagher that I would for Mount.
Listen,
I think this season really damaged him. Maybe a change of scenery helps, but I think he's kind of sort of damaged goods.
I think the thing is with Gallagher, mate, right? He hasn't had a competent manager at all.
Yeah,
in terms of, and then all the signings and the ownership. It's just again, I think you're 100% correct. He might just need a fresh start somewhere. You might just need something to go, you know what? Thank all that weight lifted off your shoulders, and I'm getting out of that fucking crazy ass football club. Do you know what I mean? Because no one's played well for Chelsea this year. No one. Everyone's been garbage. So the Conor Gallagher thing makes sense. And again, I keep going back to this homegrown players thing because it's important. It is important that Liverpool sign homegrown footballers. So there's no one really that kind of stands out to me. That's why Bellingham made loads of sense, of course, and that's why Mount makes sense, Gallagher. There's no one really. Declan Rice, I would fucking chop my hand off for Declan Rice.
Really but then he'd only go and sign for Everton about 10 seconds later, like he did with us.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Him and Grealish. But does anybody ever get the impression that the Chelsea owners watched that movie, Reno, The Professional, with what's his face? Gary Oldman in it, and that scene where he goes, "Get me everyone! That's the Chelsea signing policy."
He's just playing in it. I just love the idea that he's just getting tweeted YouTube compilations of players and goes, "Fucking hell, he's good."
Yeah.
We'll just have him. How much? 80? Only 80 million? Fuck me, he's good, him. I love that idea. That's what the owner's doing.
That was literally the Sven-Göran Eriksson Man City transfer policy when he was there, wasn't it? He was just looking at video DVDs of players like, I'll have him.
Yeah, it's a bit like when United signed Bebe for $7.5 million.
Yeah.
Alex Ferguson said, I've never even watched him. He said, I got told that he was great. Because the couple of guys came to him and he's fucking great,
You watched the movie Bebe's Kids on a plane one time? He's like, this guy.
Honestly,
this guy's, if he can't score a goal, he's at least going to make me laugh.
By the way, I'm bang into the idea of someone sending Todd Bowley compilations of Freddie Adu when he was 14. Just like, and he's American. Oh my God, guy. Like, let's get him in. And Freddie Adu is playing for Chelsea next year, just for my own personal satisfaction.
Yeah, that would be a good one. That would be a good one. And he can have his 50th birthday testimonial there while he's there. So just before we finish, we have to have our threshold question, Cozzy's first one ever. It's got to be a simple one. If they were to do a search, who's more likely that the authorities would find first, Amelia Earhart or Calvin Ramsey, Trevor?
Oh yeah, because one you're looking for a corpse, the other one you're looking for a ghost. It's depending on what you want to. Do you want to call like ghost hunters, or do you want to call a search party? Amelia Earhart is a person that we can look in history books and know that she actually existed. There was many stories told about her flights and all of these things. Whereas Calvin Ramsey is a fever dream who played for Aberdeen. No one can confirm or deny. These are things that just, they're like old wives' tales.
What do you think, Cozzy? Who would be fine for us? To be fair, everybody up in Aberdeen is blue from the cold, so it's even hard to distinguish between one person and another.
I mean, there's an argument though with Amelia Earhart, at least, that she might still be flying. It was an old
that's true.
Camera, you know what I'm saying? She still could be in the air.
Yeah, that's true.
And the Calvin Ramsey thing, I've got a thing that he showed up one day in Klopp went, I didn't know he was only 13 because he looks about 13. And I thought Klopp might just have went, you know what, he's only 13, isn't he? We'll just give him a go as Mighty Red. Because everyone has to have a go as Mighty Red, don't they?
That's it. You've solved the mystery. That's it. Calvin Ramsey is Mighty Red.
They've got to do Mighty Red. Everyone's got to do a year as Mighty Red.
The case is cracked.
I remember that. I remember Pedro Chilavella was Mighty Red for a year. And I was like, oh, yeah. And then Rafa Camacho was repping, oh, yeah, he's doing his Mighty Red stint before you have to get rid of him. But, yeah, he's going to come back refreshed because he's been wearing size 24 boots. around the pitch.
We were asking him to play the Rangers game in the Champions League, and little did we know he was on the sideline the entire time.
Taking selfies with the kids and that. That's what Ramsey has to do.
That's a tradition Klopp brought back, because I think Chirivella got caught out when he called himself Mighty Roja.
Yeah.
Gave the game away.
Like, again, Rafa Camacho and these fellas. That's what he's been doing for a long time. Big man, £8 million for Mighty Red.
It's worth the money, to be fair. 80 million for Mighty Red is good money, a good value for anybody's money.
I'm telling you, fella. Yeah, so Calvin Ramsey is Mighty Red.
There we go, we figured it out. Okay, just remains to say thank you for watching, for all of you who did. Fantastic repartee and banter, as we say, from Cozzy and Trevor. Thank you very much, lads. There's no EPL fantasy show tonight. There'll be a wrap-up show next week. There probably will be a wrap-up show for us, and then I believe Morning Coffee is on tomorrow morning. And make sure you get on that and like us on the Facebook, the YouTube, and the Twitter, and join us on the Discord to see Cozzy's mad rants about Fernandez, what's his name? That guy.
Please, Leicester. Please, Leicester.
Please, yes. And if you're the praying type,
let me be wrong.
Leicester, yeah, Leicester for the win. Everton for the drop. Liverpool are magic. Everton are tragic. That's what the great man said.
Let me be wrong.
I've never been a more Jamie Vardy fan in my life. Come on. If Dom Solanke gets the win and I'm done, that's it.
In memory of that would be fantastic. In memory of the great Emlyn Hughes, let's let Everton be tragic properly for one day of the year. So thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you at least next week for possibly the last one of the season. We will see. Enjoy the weekend. Peace out, everybody.